so terrible.
Stop it, please. Can we just do one of these just straight? It is Frightday. This is episode 15. I'm your host, Byron, and tonight we'll be excavating? Close. Adam Green's footage film, Digging Up the Marrow. And the Pharaoh's Curse continues this week in Kelly's Cryptids and Conspiracies. Yes! Speaking of Kelly's.
As well as the curse of Kelly's Cryptids and Conspiracies.
Kelly's here.
Hi, guys.
As well as Sam.
Hey.
How are you guys doing today?
I'm good. Have you met my husband? He's really nice.
Oh, geez. You're still doing that? Yeah. It's weird in here. There's light in this room.
I know. It's kind of creepy. It's real strange. I'm sorry.
This is kind of a unique situation. We're recording just a couple days after our last episode in the middle of a day on a Sunday.
Yeah, it's a good day.
Because you guys are not going to be here next week.
Yeah, we're leaving.
That's okay.
Yeah, but we're going people to be able to listen to us.
We're going in search of King Tut's tomb.
Mm-hmm. None of this is true. Except the gone part.
You're just leaving.
We're leaving.
So in the past couple days, what have you guys been up to?
So much.
Anything horror related? Uh-oh.
So Sam and I watched the movie we're going to talk about tonight.
Digging Up the Marrow.
Yeah.
You excavated it.
We excavated it.
Yeah, we dug it.
Did you dig it?
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. Is that all you guys watched? You didn't have time for anything else?
I think so.
I'm trying to think. I actually know that I watched something else, but I don't think that it was... Oh, yeah. Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Actually, really funny. Sam, you'd like that one because there's no musical in it.
Can you cut all that out?
It's impossible. I didn't watch much either. I watched another episode of season 2 of Helix, which continues to get bizarre.
In a good way?
I'm not quite sure yet. It feels real different than the first season. It's taking place on an island, and the last time it was in the Antarctic. So it's weird. It feels like Lost, and I can't get past that. But maybe I will. There's a couple episodes out. I just need to catch up. It's fun. I'll watch it.
Well, keep us posted.
It's the best sci-fi show out there right now.
Oh, high praise indeed.
Yeah. Kelly.
Yeah.
This might be a short episode, everyone.
Oh,
I just
doubtful.
want to warn you.
Doubtful.
Oh.
I'm here.
Oh, no.
Not going to be short.
Do we want to talk about trailers?
Yeah. Can we talk about Avenged, previously known as Savaged?
Savaged was the original title?
Yeah. And it was like a mini release last year, but now it's getting a wider theatrical release in March. I think it looks good. You guys thought maybe differently. I don't know. Looks fun.
Looks like a movie.
Like I told Byron, it looks fun in the same way Everly looked fun, but since it doesn't have what's her ass in it, I'm sure Byron.
It's just another good old-fashioned rape revenge movie.
Yeah, except then
it's different because it's a shaman and a possession.
She turns into supernatural Wonder Woman revenge.
So Zoe, a deaf, mute woman, is brutally savaged and left for dead after trying to save a Native American youth from a gang of rednecks. When a native shaman finds her clinging to life in a shallow grave, he attempts to save her, but something goes horribly wrong. The awoken spirit of a bloodthirsty Apache warrior takes possession of Zoe's body. Now she walks amongst the living, hell-bent on getting revenge.
Awesome.
Yeah, and the trailer looks pretty much exactly like that.
That's what we saw. It might be fun. I don't think we'll be discussing it on the show, but if you guys have an extra midday Sunday watch on...
I've already got a spot reserved on my top 10 of 2015
of
list
course.
For it.
Avenged, a.k.a. Savaged.
I do think it's funny that it was previously called Savaged, and then they maybe thought about like the racist ramifications of that title.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, especially in conjunction. Yeah. But that's okay. I think it looks good.
You know what I think looks really good? Mm-hmm. The first peek at Wayward Pines, the new Fox series by M. Night Shyamalan.
Shyamalan. Just Shyamalan, I think. Shyamalan.
Has anyone ever said his name just
Shyamalan.
once and without anyone else saying anything? I think it's all.
No,
We should
I
call
think
Bruce Willis and just see how he.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it looks great though. Like I said, it looks a little bit like Twin Peaks. And then after I said that, you guys told me it takes place in an Idaho town. So even more like Twin Peaks.
Well, wasn't Twin Peaks in Washington?
Yeah, but Pacific Northwest,
Yeah.
same gig.
I think Idaho's the new Washington.
Yeah, I think that changed with Napoleon Dynamite. Started
Really?
a trend, yeah.
Well,
Everything became about Idaho then.
No, but then he had Twilight.
Twilight, yeah.
Forget
Shitting
Twilight.
all
That's
over
an
Washington.
aberration. Just ignore.
So Wayward Pines, Matt Dillon.
Yeah.
He apparently is a U.S. Secret Service agent investigating the disappearance of 2 federal agents in this Idaho town called Wayward Pines. It's a mid-season replacement event series, so that always makes me nervous.
Wait, mid-season replacement?
Yeah,
What?
it's what happens when a show
Something
isn't
got
doing good
killed.
enough and they cancel it early.
This is going in instead?
Yeah,
So this is like a pinch hitter.
Well, it was probably prepped and ready for a release later on down.
Yeah, because I thought it wasn't coming. That's right, because I heard it wasn't coming out until like the summer.
yeah, and
fall
then they
even.
slip it up when
Okay.
like when shows like Mulaney get cut or shortened.
Oh God, why was that a show?
I don't know. I
watched like 2 minutes of it and it was terrible.
I really like John Mulaney. I think he's a
His
great
stand-up's really funny,
Yeah, and he used to write for SNL for a long time.
but he's still funny.
He is funny. The show, everyone that was in
Aside
the-
from SNL.
yeah. So when they cancel a show like Mulaney, they fill it with something else. Hopefully this is good, and
It's
hopefully
got Terrence Howard and Juliette Lewis. It has like real actors.
it's got my
gonna
wife
be amazing.
Shannon Sossman too.
Yes. You have lots of
When did
wives
you
at this
guys-
point, Byron.
Yeah,
So many
a
wives.
handful.
I feel like it's best if you don't keep announcing them on the air because it's a pretty sure way that
They're going to find out about each other. Yeah, it's
with
true.
with our thousands and thousands of
Yeah.
listeners that all
You gotta be
operate in those
careful.
social circles.
Shannon, baby, you're the only one.
It was a joke.
That was creepy. The way you said that, it reminded me of that guy that stalked. What's her name?
We're gonna-
No. Who did she stalk? Sam, that creepy guy from. Never mind.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
that's fine.
Selena Gomez, the guy that stalked Selena Gomez.
I took pictures of Selena Gomez
So there you go.
at South by Southwest. I don't.
Yeah, that
Hold
was
on.
that was the guy.
There you. Yeah.
was me.
No,
was
it
it
wasn't.
for was that
It
for
like-
that Spring Breakers?
Yeah. She was.
That
there for
movie
that.
was a big pile of shit.
Do you think all the
No.
girls in that movie understood the point of that movie?
I think they would all have to know entering into a Harmony Korine movie what they were getting into.
I mean, maybe. Yeah. It just seemed interesting to me. Seemed real interesting.
I think they just wanted to grow up a bit, you know. Vanessa Hudgens,
I can't stand her. She drives me nuts.
I think they just wanted to bang Franco.
maybe they heard Franco's attached.
That's typically why I do Franco movies because I yeah.
Attached to what?
To Sam.
I've never noticed that.
Wayward Pines is coming out May 14th. I think it looks good. That's all the trailers we have so far this week in this mini week that we had between episodes. What was that?
Aliens.
What do you say we talk about?
It actually might have been my Space Ghost Musical Barbecue CD coming out of my computer.
Oh, God. Let's talk about some news.
Hey, can I talk about?
Don't put that in the podcast.
Hey.
No. Hey,
Can I talk? Can I talk about Jeffrey Reddick?
Actually,
who is Jeffrey Reddick?
Jeffrey Reddick was the guy who wrote the Final Destination franchise, which I
All
mean,
of it?
in all honesty, it started out kind of good. He wrote the first one, and
Okay.
then so like he had some part in the franchise, I think.
Probably producer credit throughout, I would
Something
imagine.
like that, yeah. So he's coming out with his first full-length movie. He actually just wrote and directed a short film.
Oh, first full-length directing.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So he wrote and directed a short film called Good Samaritan that had Rainn Wilson. That just came out.
Huh.
But now he is doing a full-length feature horror film called Final Reel.
Oh.
So he's into finals, I guess.
But he's starting at the end.
Yeah.
The last one.
Yeah, the last one. So it actually sounds kind of interesting. The horror film will center on a director who can manipulate reality through film and torments the residents of a small town by bringing their darkest fears to life. Sounds good.
How does he know what their darkest fears are?
I don't know. Maybe they
There's
tell
a
him.
survey.
Okay. That was a mistake.
I bet they tell him.
A spooky census.
Yeah, I think they probably tell him.
Okay.
But I think it looks good. It's kind of cool. I mean, the premise of Final Destination was pretty cool. It got real old and bad.
I don't know how many of those I've seen. I think it is a good. What was the one with the log that bounces into the car?
I don't know.
It's like the intersection where everyone meets, and they keep rewinding and showing the cars before they hit. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. No, I remember what you're talking about. I just don't remember it all.
I don't know.
It is. Yeah.
I don't know either.
Yeah. So
anyhow, is it getting
cool.
a major release? Do you know?
It has. I mean, it's just starting. It hasn't been filmed.
Production.
Yeah, they're just starting production. So I don't know, but it might. I mean, he's got to have at least some clout because that franchise was clearly successful enough to make 74 of them. So
clout or budget? Budget. I'm doing
Mudget.
a lot of those today.
Clamudget.
It's looking like the budget.
Let's talk about mudgets.
Oh no, not a mudget. They're calling it a.
Let's talk about Smang It.
Do you want to? God,
let's not talk about Smang It.
Yeah. The budget is estimated at $5 million, so it's going to be kind of a smaller movie.
Right, but that's a big budget for an indie movie. It's a small budget for a big movie, right?
It's just somewhere in the mid.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know.
What else happened in the 3 days between episodes?
Well, what you guys have more news? Because I've got news to talk about, but...
Well, yeah, but...
Well, I could talk about something real quick.
Byron,
We're all familiar with the franchise Wolf Creek.
Yeah.
Did you guys end up watching that second one or not?
No,
I haven't seen the second one. Heard mixed reviews.
I haven't seen it either. So we're not really big authorities on this. But
The first one was really good, I thought. Gruesome survival horror.
remember that stab?
Yeah.
It still gets me every time.
The dick.
Yeah, classic move.
Sorry, that could have been a spoiler.
They're both spoilers. I'm just going to beep them. It'll be fun. Netflix is coming to Australia. So another streaming service called called Stan.
Stan.
Oh my God, Byron, are you drunk? You know, I know you supposedly don't drink, but now I'm starting to think that maybe you're just drunk all the time during the day, and that's why we have to hang out at night.
Coffee you got over there seems mighty Irish.
They're the same name, Ned and Stan. Come on now.
Clearly.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, they're pretty close.
Okay.
But the Sydney Morning Herald says that Stan is considering a 6-episode TV spin-off of the Wolf Creek series. Do you think they can pull off a TV show version of this? If they can make it work for From Dusk Till Dawn, maybe they can pull this off.
Yeah.
But did it really work for From Dusk Till Dawn?
No.
The one that I saw, no. But
They were just stretching the premise.
Yeah, you're likewise limited on it's called From Dusk Till Dawn.
With Wolf Creek, it takes place over one night, and you don't really get to see the character develops throughout that night. In the second movie, he's a little bit, it's like daylight, and there's a little bit more of him directly reflecting throughout, but it kind of loses its appeal the more you see the villain of a horror film.
I like the faceless, totally apathetic, you can't identify with them. They're just mindless killing machines.
We'll see what they do with Wolf Creek. I don't even know if we're going to get it. It's an Australian thing. I'm sure someone will pick up the rights for US distribution, but
when there's money to be made.
I bet we can buy it from the internet somewhere.
I would imagine.
The internet sells me all sorts of stuff.
They're saying the tone would be less horror and more suspense thriller, which is probably what I would expect when you take away that veil of mystery.
Yeah,
it becomes
all you
more
have
of a
is
thriller.
tension.
Yep, we'll see what happens.
Another quick story. American Horror Story has announced they will indeed be returning for a 5th season. It is now confirmed Jessica Lange was not just bluffing. This really was her last season. But Kathy Bates is coming back, and Evan Peters will be the lead next year, which is kind of exciting. I think he's pretty good, so that'll be fun.
Evan Peters, who is he?
He's been in every single season.
Yeah, he's the younger guy.
Yeah,
the male.
younger blondie guy.
Oh, this just in, guys.
Rubber Man.
Ooh, what just in? Breaking news.
Oh, that's
Don't ever make that
unnecessary.
noise.
Yeah, for sure. Don't do that. Earlier this week, Ben Wolf, who plays Meep in the
so
current,
sad.
the latest season of American Horror Story, he was hit in the back of the head with a car mirror as he was crossing the street in Los Angeles. He was in critical condition, but now it appears he's in stable condition.
Oh, good. I thought you were going to tell me he died. I got really sad when you started talking.
He's not out of the woods yet.
Okay.
So,
well, I'm just glad that he's okay.
well, he's not okay.
Going to be okay.
Maybe.
On the route to being okay.
Yeah. Just keep him in your thoughts,
Yeah.
But continue.
Yeah. Kathy Bates, Evan Peters, no Jessica Lange, just as we were told it was going to be. And they keep teasing stuff. We talked a little bit about it last time, but they keep teasing stuff about what the actual subject matter is going to be. But I'm not going to speculate. I'm going to wait until they announce it because there are way too many guesses out there. People are suggesting magicians or wizards or aliens. Obviously, I would love it if it was aliens.
Didn't they pepper in aliens?
Yeah, it was really a bad thing, though. I feel like when they threw that into Asylum, because Asylum was really good by itself, and then all of a sudden we have this alien insertion in it. I'm like, what? What? No, save aliens for a whole separate season. I'm hoping that that's what they did.
I kind of liked Asylum, though, as a season because it didn't limit itself to a theme, really. I mean,
I like themes. I like boundaries.
Which season would you say was the best season, though?
Asylum.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Would have been better without the alien crap.
I feel that way about most things.
I just mean because it should have had its own season. And hopefully it will. Anyhow, on to the rest. You guys have any other boring news that I can talk about my news? No?
No, nothing has happened in the world.
Nothing at all.
It's all empty.
That makes sense.
Jeez. Wow.
We'll just move right on into
Super grim.
Kelly's Cryptids and Conspiracies.
Kelly's Cryptids and Conspiracies.
Kelly's Cryptids and Conspiracies.
Can I go now?
Yes, you may.
Okay, so 3 stories this week.
3. You're really filling the time.
Well, I
appreciate
I know
that.
that if I tell you how many I have right off the bat, you won't let me say all of them, so I just sneak them in.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it'll be fine.
All right, so there is a court hall in India that has been shut down for the last 9 months because
a court hall.
Yes, that's what they are. They're called court halls. Don't ask me about the justice system
Wait.
in India. I can't begin to tell you how it works.
They
I
don't
have no
have
idea.
It's
I don't know.
It's not confined to. It's not the house. It's confined to a hall.
I don't know. I mean, yeah.
It's a long, narrow justice system.
Okay.
So, and I think it's like a specific courtroom in the courthouse, and they call it a court hall.
Yeah,
so a court hall might be a courtroom, but please don't
This is
quote
just
me on
speculation.
that. Yeah.
Do not take this as legal advice. If you're currently under indictment for anything in India.
Just don't get under indictment for anything in India. I don't think they do indictments. I think they just throw people in jail. Anyhow, you guys ever seen Broke Down Palace? That was scary.
I didn't.
I never want to get thrown in a foreign jail. Okay.
There's an entire series on Netflix called Locked Up Abroad.
Yuck.
That might be horror to you.
That would absolutely be horror. Anybody who knows about the Amanda Knox story
Toilets
is like,
without seats.
Oh my god. Amanda
And don't even
Knox,
get me started
I'm
on the
familiar
sodomy.
with it, but
that's super scary.
tell me about this hall.
Okay, so this hall has been shut down for 9 months because
It's pregnant.
it is feared to have been infested by ghosts.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. What kind of ghosts are we talking here?
You know, there's a lot of debate about that. They've been looking at different ways of getting the ghosts out, including yogis, perhaps.
Is that a type of bear?
No, yes, it is actually
Okay.
in America, but in India, it's somebody who practices yoga.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Makes
yeah.
more sense.
So yeah, it's kind of interesting. I wish that
It's
we
not
would...
a malicious ghost.
Well, no, it just says that it's supposed to be haunted, and they're very superstitious. So, you know, people don't want to be having their life decisions determined in the presence of
Ghouls.
creepy ghouls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
That's
is
fair.
nice to know that stupidity is a universal value.
So my second story is there is an incredible conference going on of aliens.
Like they're getting together.
Yes, it is. Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
Just
they are
hammering
getting
out
together.
the new uniform,
Yes.
dues, things like that.
Yes. No. Okay.
No more crop circles.
I love crop circles. No, it's an annual UFO conference near Phoenix.
Okay.
And I'm really excited because this time next week, there will be a lot that comes out of this because there are always great stories that emerge from that. So just, you know,
What's the conference called?
I think it's actually called UFO Conference.
Wow. So
Oh, no. International UFO Congress. Pardon me.
okay.
International UFO
No,
Congress.
that's good.
Yeah.
Congress definitely makes it seem more official.
Yeah,
that
I
was
know.
a good choice.
I really wish that I could go to that. Okay,
And
so
international.
Where's it
with
take-
people from as far away as Canada.
Where does it take place?
Arizona.
Arizona. So-
Arizona.
okay.
The whole state. Not sure where.
Yeah, all over.
Entire state of Arizona.
Just drive until you hit Arizona and you're there.
Well, I mean, there is a lot of stuff that goes on in Arizona.
There's crime.
No, well, no. Yes.
Sorry, listeners.
Okay. So.
Arizona listeners.
Oh my.
They know.
That's okay.
I'm kidding. I've never been to Arizona.
I have. A lot of crime.
Yeah. Also, right now going on is William Shatner spoke at the Wizard World Comic Con.
Okay.
He's not a wizard.
Much to my enjoyment, he breached the topic of UFOs.
So is he known as a believer?
I don't know. I've never heard of. I mean, I'm sure he is because he's cool. But he's actually started talking about John Mack, who I have known about for a long time. But he's a psychiatrist who interviewed 200 people who claimed to have been abducted by aliens and actually came to the conclusion that the abductions were real and UFOs exist. But so Shatner starts talking about this. It sounds like he's kind of rambling, but I like it. There is so much that is mysterious out there. We don't know what we don't know because we don't know. What is
That makes sense. That's a good saying.
What is our explanation for alien abduction? We don't know. The reason we are all here is because of science fiction. So I love Shatner. I thought that was great.
I think he's just playing for the crowd a bit, right?
Well, no. I think he's real. I think that was
Do we have any audio of that?
No.
Because I will listen to Shatner say anything.
I will see if I can find audio for you.
I'll pull
sweetie,
a clip
because I love you so much. I will see if I can find audio for you.
Went in and out of existence by the very act of examining it. And you can't examine it because you don't know what it is, because your quality of looking at it is imperfect, so you don't really know what it is. Except that photon of light can make a decision to go in one slit or another. It seems to have intelligence. There's so much that's mysterious out there. We don't know what we don't know because we don't know that we don't know. So how can we say they don't exist, UFOs? Well, they do. So science fiction speculates.
Because you're so great.
That's enough.
Okay, and now here's my big story.
This
my
is the
big
big
story.
one?
This is the big one.
Okay.
So for a while, there have been all these stories about a nature reserve in the UK that's supposedly haunted by this woman in white. And it's kind of fallen into disrepair. So it's gotten a lot of attention because of that as well. Recently, there was some historical research done that uncovered a possible connection between the ghost that haunts this place and the famous curse of King Tut's tomb. So for those...
Wait a second. What is that?
What?
Who is King Tut? I'm familiar with the name.
How much do you know about Dutch history?
Not a lot, honestly. I know that there's a nice gold-looking sarcophagus.
You're just looking on the Wikipedia page and you're seeing the picture of the sarcophagus. You stop it.
No, I mean, obviously, I took...
Okay, so...
I made a pyramid diagram in middle school once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but that's about that's the extent.
Hold on, were you into, like, creepy stuff
No,
in middle school? Did you, like, do cool report? Because I did a report on Roswell in the fourth grade.
I know. No, I wasn't.
You didn't...
The pyramids aren't inherently creepy.
I don't think so.
Well,
I mean, they're the mummy.
They were built by aliens, so they're a little creepy.
But once they got the whole mummy thing resolved, the pyramids were huge tourist attractions.
Tell me.
Okay, so in 1922, Howard Carter, who is an archaeologist, went and opened the tomb of Tutankhamun. Okay, and this was really kind of the beginning of what has become all of these wonderful archaeological fascinations with Egypt and Egyptology. So since then, obviously tons of movies and lots of, I mean, this whole thing is where the universal horror films based around the mummy came from. It was surrounding this curse.
Did you know that King Tut was a villain on the Batman TV series?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
The original with Adam
didn't.
West.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So tell me, okay, they cracked the crypt.
They cracked the crypt open, okay?
Okay.
And it was reported by the New York Times, and it was really cool. However...
What year was this?
1922.
Okay.
However, there have been lots of horrible misfortunes that have befallen the people connected with the opening of King Tut's tomb. For example, Carter sent a messenger immediately after the opening of the tomb. He sent a messenger to his house, and when the messenger got to the house, he heard a faint, almost human, that's in quotes, cry.
Okay.
And got to the entrance and saw that in the bird cage, where once had been the Howard Carter's canary, there was now a cobra.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, no, seriously. The cobra, somehow a cobra got in there, opened the cage, and ate the canary. Kind of creepy.
Yeah. I mean,
So, but that was one thing, and obviously that's not quite as big a deal because it's a bird. Never mind. Maybe it's a bigger deal.
No.
Sad.
A cobra showing up in a bird cage is a big deal.
So, kind of creepy, right?
Yeah, cobras go in cobra cages.
Right.
Was that documented, or is this a?
I mean, there are lots of people who have talked about that. I don't know how you would document it, but I mean, it's interesting because it is kind of mythology at this point because it happened so long ago. And
Yeah. Okay.
8 people who were present for the opening of the tomb were dead within a decade.
Do you know how many people were overall?
Like
present?
50.
Okay.
Of course, the average life expectancy of a person in
No,
1922 was 15.
That's not true. That's a false statement.
That is a false statement, Sam. Stop it.
But
So Lord Carnarvon was the first person actually who died, and it was supposed to be from a blood infection that came from a mosquito bite that he supposedly acquired at the opening of the tomb.
okay.
So that's pretty creepy. And here's the connection. Okay. So Lord Carnarvon,
Hold tight.
Yeah, sorry.
How would he know exactly when he got bit by the bug? Just because
I don't know, like maybe the mosquito bite was bugging him for a long time.
there's a lot of
itching it.
mosquitoes.
Yeah, people got bit by all
I don't-
sorts of shit in Egypt
I
in
don't know.
1922.
I don't know.
Oh, but
I don't know. I never talked to the man. He died before I could get to him.
We can attribute it to that.
Lucky guy.
That's one. That's one.
Okay. So that's one.
Uh-huh.
George J. Gould died in the French Riviera after developing a fever shortly after his visit, like within a year. Okay.
Was it syphilis?
Oh my God.
That's
The Prince of Egypt, who was also there, died. He was shot dead by his wife. So the guy who x-rayed King Tut's mummy, he died from a mysterious, never determined illness.
Do you know what year that was?
1924.
See, X-ray technology.
Everything was undetermined.
I don't mean to try to bust. I'm just looking for logic. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Continue.
Okay, the Governor General of Sudan was assassinated while driving through Cairo in 1924. A member of the excavation team, A.C. Mace, died from arsenic poisoning a couple years after that. What do you guys have for that one? Let's
Nothing.
go.
Or she was poisoned. Oh, that's. I don't have anything for that.
Okay.
I think that, yeah, a 1 in 5 chance of being killed by this curse is pretty significant and rare.
It is. It's creepy. Okay, so backing up, the first guy that died, Lord Carnarvon. Okay, Lord Carnarvon.
How do you get a lord title?
I really don't
inherited.
know. Sam might be able to tell you more about that than myself. Anyhow, Lord Carnarvon.
Was Frodo the Lord of the Rings?
No, Sauron was the Lord of the
I
Rings.
don't know how things work.
God,
Can I finish my story?
Yes, of course.
please do.
I'm going to go on record and tell you that Zahi Wasp believes in King Tut's curse.
Who's that?
He's the head of...
The former head of Egypt's Antiquities Bureau, basically. They're the government body that was responsible for maintaining all of Egypt's
You know what?
historical
I'm gonna just, because we're on this topic right now,
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna get back to the ghost in just a second. Okay.
Uh-oh.
But
Oh, no.
it just so happens that the guy that's the head of the dig, okay, follow me here. The guy that's the head of the dig at the pyramids of Giza and has been for like a decade. All right. I met him 5 years ago.
Okay.
Really great guy. Okay. Really, really smart. Me being me, the first thing I asked him is whether there was anything to the face on Mars.
That's a smart choice. Good use of time.
And we were at a bar. I could talk to him. I had time.
Sure.
Okay. So, and whether there really was a relationship between that and the pyramids at Giza. And then I also discussed with him how supposedly we can't even rebuild the pyramids with the technology we have today. And did he really think something else might have been at
It
play
was
there?
vibrations.
He said that he still doesn't know how they built them, and he agrees that it is a huge mystery. He wasn't willing to make the same conclusion that I made.
Yeah.
Well,
But
you
he
had your
did-
jump to conclusions mat rolled out all the way across the
But
floor.
he said that he agrees that it is really, really mysterious, and no, they have not been able, at least as of 5 years ago, they have not been able to solve that. And he's like the head guy at Giza.
I'm pretty sure it was
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
alien technology that used vibrations to
Could have been, as long as
move
it was-
molecules at an equal rate to make them float. Isn't that what they said that worked?
Could be.
Yeah, that's a
Could be.
theory.
It could be.
There was definitely some kind of ray involved.
I actually think I heard something recently about like they built the blocks there.
That or it was slaves.
Well, yes, they used slaves. Anyhow, so sorry. I was just telling you, like, that guy.
The mysterious force that binds the world together.
Slavery.
Okay, so back to the story. Lord Carnarvon, the first guy to die from the King Tut curse. Okay?
Yes, we're all the way back there. Yeah.
Okay. So it just so happens that he had inherited this old hall.
Was it a court hall?
No!
Okay.
It was like an old British manor, like a hall in the sense of a British manor hall.
Like Downton Abbey.
Yes.
Okay.
Like Downton Abbey Hall.
Why didn't you just say like Downton Abbey?
Not an Indian court hall.
Different story, Byron.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Moving on. There are a few people on the planet that would tolerate being mocked as much as I
You're not
tolerate
being
being mocked.
mocked.
Jesus.
Come on, you're doing very well with the mocking.
Okay, so 100 years ago, Lord Carnarvon went on this tour to go check out the unveiling of King Tut's tomb. So that's what rich people did back then. I guess that's still kind of what rich people do now. When he came back, he died. And the rumor was that the curse was supposed to affect not just the people that were there, but their entire families as well. And so this white lady also died on the grounds. These grounds have now become the property for this nature reserve. And this woman in white is who is haunting the nature reserve. And so there is, some theory that it is the woman who was a relative of Lord Carnarvon, and she died as a result of King Tut's curse. So a woman who died as the result of King Tut's curse is now haunting this place in England, and people are continually reporting seeing her, and those reports just jacked up again because the place has been in the news for falling into disrepair, and I think there are discussions that they might do something with it. So it's been on people's minds again, and a bunch of reports have flooded in about seeing this woman in white.
Do you know how she died?
No, unfortunately, the story on it was a little bit cryptic. It just says that, the woman in white was related to Lord Carnarvon. She was one of the members of the family who died as a result of the curse. They actually talk a lot about Lord Carnarvon, but then they don't talk much about how she exactly died. But yeah.
I hope when I die, people think it's because of a curse.
I can place a curse on you.
Is it true that Hitler shot off the face of the Sphinx?
I don't think so. I think that eroded over time.
Okay.
I'll have to check with my source, though.
You have okay.
Well, that source.
Yeah. Facebook him.
Yeah.
Has this been Kelly's Cryptids?
Yeah, I hate to let go, but I think it has been.
That's okay.
More next time.
Or on Frightday.com.
And again,
That was good stuff.
I know that people are getting a little frustrated with my UFO heavy cryptids and conspiracies. I'm just really a big fan of UFOs and aliens, but I'm trying to bring more other topics in.
Let's get a real conspiracy.
A real conspiracy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't do like the Alex Jones 9/11 conspiracy
I'm not
stuff.
talking about that.
I don't like Alex Jones.
No, of course not.
Okay.
We'll see what happens next week.
A real conspiracy.
Yeah, let's go deep into it.
Okay.
So
all right. All the conspiracies that I care about are alien ones, though, so I'm gonna have to dig. Okay. What?
Found a photo of the Sphinx from the 1930s, and the face was already all jacked up.
That makes sense. Let's talk about a movie.
Stupid Hitler trying to take credit for stupid things. Stupid Hitler.
Lots of
Take
people.
credit for things like Adam Green's movie, Digging Up the Marrow.
No, that's a bad segue, Sam.
Yes!
Let's talk about Digging Up the Marrow.
We hope you're enjoying your visit here this evening. Now, on with the show.
Digging Up the Marrow, directed by Adam Green, is a film we watched.
We did.
Sam, do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, as you said, this is a movie we watched.
Uh-huh.
Digging Up the Marrow is the story of director Adam Green's quest to determine if monsters truly exist. He and his producer Will Barrett are approached by letter by a man claiming to be a former detective who has discovered where monsters live, where they come from, and that they are, in fact, real. This is a place underground called the Marrow, accessed through
It's a metropolis of the damned.
the deformed and otherwise monstrous.
Yeah.
And it's accessed through holes in the ground at various places around the U.S. and possibly the world, holes in cemeteries. Green becomes increasingly obsessed with verifying the truth of this story that he's been told. And, in the end, we find out what happens when you dig up the marrow.
What did you think about the movie? It's a mockumentary?
I would say not mockumentary because it's not humorous.
Well, no, mockumentary means that it's emulating a documentary. It doesn't have to be funny to be mockumentary.
Okay.
I think that's just
yeah.
what the way the word has been used.
Yeah, but I think there's some sincere strategy in here, though, because I think some movies actually, believe it or not, are still trying to pull off that this really was found footage and this really was what happened. And I think Adam Green drew a very clear line that he wasn't trying to pull it off to that degree, and that's why he cast Ray Wise.
Exactly.
Because everybody else played themselves, so it would have been considered that up until that point. But he wanted us to know that it was fiction going
They
in.
would have used a relatively unknown actor.
Right. And obviously, especially people in the horror genre know who Ray Wise is. So there's no way that would have slipped through. And I think that was a conscious decision he made. So he wasn't trying to be this super cheesy, like, hey, look at this is real. Yeah.
It's a footage film, though.
Yeah.
That's my favorite line
That
in
was
this movie.
ridiculous. That was ridiculous, but it was good.
Was it?
Okay. I thought it was
Tell
good.
me why you think it was good.
I think it was good because it seemed very sincere and very genuine. So at least for me, I'm maybe an overly empathetic person. I felt really terribly for this main character, the William Decker, who has reached out to these guys. I felt so bad for him throughout the movie. I just wanted to give him a big hug during every scene because I felt like he was obviously just in so much pain and he was so sad. And I think his acting really made the story come together. Obviously, Adam Green's good. He knows what he's doing.
That was a huge issue with me. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
I felt the abrasive difference between the acting style of Adam Green and Ray Wise really was distracting.
Yes.
Because Ray Wise is a professional actor. He's a master of dialogue, especially in this movie. I haven't seen him in a lot of other things, but for sure,
He's really good.
he's great.
He was really good.
Then you pan back to Adam Green, and he's acting.
But see, I would argue that he came off, like, obviously I don't know Adam Green personally. Nobody watching this movie, save a few exceptions, knows Adam Green personally.
He tweeted at me twice.
Well, that's awesome.
So you know him.
So I think that he can create whatever persona he wants, and it seemed like he wasn't acting, which can come off as poor acting, because if it looks like you're not acting, it can also look like bad acting, but he was just himself. And whether that's really who he is or not, I don't know, but I can believe that that's who he is.
The character that he was playing, I didn't like.
Well, maybe you just don't like Adam Green then.
I don't know. I'm going with, because he seems generally, I mean, I loved Frozen. He seems like a generally likable guy.
Did you know that he used to be the lead singer of a metal band?
He loves
Adam? Yeah,
loves
yeah,
metal,
yeah.
which is great.
He was actually-
I'm gonna say I don't like the character. I found the character that he was playing to be abrasive.
I don't know what it was. Like, there's 3 main interviews I saw in this movie where he talks with Ray Wise's character in like a sit-down interview style.
Yeah.
And I thought the editing and acting on the first one felt completely different than the other 2 throughout. Like,
I think that was important too, though. I think that he was getting frustrated and more frantic as the movie went on because he came in buying it.
Yeah, and it worked more, but I don't know why I didn't buy that first interview. They kept cutting back to reaction shots of Adam Green like nodding, really like
Yeah.
it just I don't know.
And hamming it up behind
seemed very
Ray Wise.
And but those are some of the things that led me to feel really bad for Ray Wise, which may have been Adam Green's plan, because I mean, like, he's the most relatable character in the movie. I felt so bad for him, and I think that maybe Adam Green was trying to play himself as a little bit of a Punky Brewster. But regardless, I really didn't care about that because, like I said, I didn't investigate it. He could be whoever. It didn't seem like he was acting because he was acting poorly, if that makes any sense.
Maybe I've just immersed myself in a world of Adam Green a bit too much because I do listen to his podcast every week, and I've seen his TV show Holliston, and I'm a huge fan of Adam Green, and that's why this movie is a bit frustrating to me.
So it's probably very different for you because you know more about who he is as a person. I'm more removed, and I have no preconceived notions about who he is and who he isn't going in, so I can believe whatever character he's playing.
I thought that character distracted from the story that he was trying to tell.
A lot of people have called this movie self-indulgent. Do you think it was?
No, I didn't think so.
I don't know.
I have some problems with the end. Other than that, I thought it was actually very well done.
I think when you create a movie surrounding a character and then play that character, but you don't have the chops to hold up. He's the main focus of this movie. He's on screen more than
It's the
anyone
Adam
else.
Green show.
And which is fine. I just don't think that he was up to the task as an actor.
I would argue that he very deliberately let it become the William Decker show rather than the Adam Green show, and that was the whole point of the movie.
That's when the movie gets better, when you move into the middle point, and then eventually the third act when it becomes more about he's less in control of the situation. And I think that's when the movie really takes off. I think it drags throughout the entire beginning. The dinner scene with his wife.
So awkward.
Well, nothing develops. There's no reason that scene was in the movie.
So the other thing I was wondering, was this movie cut, like completely edited before his wife left him? Because I wonder if there was more stuff with his wife that made that make more sense, and he edited stuff out because he didn't want that to detract, because obviously people are going to talk about that.
Well, I heard there was a couple things that he gut reaction wanted to cut out, but he didn't cut anything after the fact. This movie was edited, the odorous urungus.
Oh, that was sad.
Dave Brockie stuff was something that he it really hurt him. It really affected him. For people who don't know, the singer of Gwar is in a quick interview at the beginning of this movie.
And in the background of various convention
scenes.
appearances.
And he died last year of a drug overdose.
In March, yeah.
And Adam was having a lot of troubles dealing with that and wanted to cut it from the movie, but left it. So I can't imagine that he took anything out of this movie.
Well, maybe that's the case then.
As far as the self-indulgence allegation goes, I didn't see that so much with his character because he was making the movie, so it makes sense that he would be.
Of course.
But I found, and it obviously it's Adam Green playing, some version of Adam Green, so it takes place generally in locations controlled by Adam Green, like his offices, his home.
And that's his real stuff.
Exactly. So there's, a reason for it probably, but I found the constant presence of his merch to be distracting.
The wardrobe, the
Frozen
merch,
the
Hatchet
posters
merch.
and everybody, all of his producers.
Alex Pardee logos were everywhere and stuff, which this is one small thing. I don't know if it
is
really
that the
matters.
little head,
the head
with the two eyes
with the earbuds on,
yeah,
the headphones on.
Yeah.
The one problem I had is the entire movie is based on the artwork of Alex Pardee. He's done stuff for The Used and a bunch of other different random things. Google him. He's really got a unique style.
Yeah. Creepy stuff.
Well, and the story is he actually came up at a convention and handed this pamphlet to Adam Green, right?
For a show that he was doing called Digging Up the Marrow, which is an art exhibit.
And Adam Green had no idea who he was. He knew his work, but he didn't know what he looked like. And so he got home and opened it up and realized that it was Alex Pardee. And then that's where this kind of came from. That's where it grew from.
On William Decker's wall of art, there's all these pieces, drawings of the monsters throughout this. We didn't even really talk about the plot of this movie, but
so who supposedly drew those pictures? That's the part that I really didn't get.
They said that he had
commissioned.
them commissioned, and then one was drawn by his son.
Decker's son.
Yeah. But there's a little logo, one of Alex Pardee's little smiley faces is up on Decker's board. And then later in the movie, it's on one of Adam Green's shirts. And I thought that was really, that didn't make any sense. And that continues this weird wardrobe problem of self-merchandising his work.
Okay, but for the average viewer, that's not going to detract. I didn't notice that.
Maybe that is just me.
I got real familiar with the Ariscope logo.
Yeah, you did. That's just, I guess it's not a big deal, but I also don't think it would have been a big deal just to wear some normal t-shirts,
Yeah. Well,
maybe that's how Adam dresses. I don't know. I think I'm making this way too personal. I think that if I would have sat down as a fan of horror, maybe not a fan of him, I would have enjoyed this more.
And that's more how I watched. I mean, I loved Frozen, but I haven't seen Hatchet even.
Yeah.
So I was able to watch it a little bit more removed from it than you were.
Yeah, and I felt going into this, I heard a lot about the convention scenes and interviewing people about if they believe in monsters, and it was just like a less than 5-minute clip at the beginning of the movie. They could have went into that more and elaborated the point of the documentary because it didn't really give it a basis of why he was doing this.
Okay, so really quickly, the plot is this guy approaches him. They get
William Decker.
Pardon me. Sorry. William Decker approaches Adam Green and says, I can prove to you that monsters exist. I want you to come and film this. Essentially asks them to document this, which I still don't understand why he was doing that. Okay.
Why Decker wanted it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he nothing really to gain.
Yeah, and he wanted no intrusion on any of the areas.
Right. The only thing I can, okay. So anyhow, and as the movie progresses, You walk with Adam Green through this. Is he telling the truth or is he full of it? And they witness some things, but then they don't witness enough to really have it locked in that they're completely sure that it's real. And then by the end, some bigger things happen. The emotional part of the plot that's driven really has to do with William Decker, because you learn partway into the movie, he slips up and mentions that he has a son, but then won't talk anymore about him. And you can see that, this has basically consumed his life, these monsters, and watching them. And it says that he's out there every single night watching them come out. And you really empathize with him. You feel terrible because it's very obvious that his life is horrific.
He's been destroyed by these nightmarish.
Yeah. Well, and
actually, he doesn't even think they're nightmarish is the thing.
Well, and so here's the thing. That's the real human element of it, is he describes it as almost the way that, in foreign countries, when a kid's born with Down syndrome, half the time they'll lock him in a shed and just leave him there. And the way that we see those people treated, that's what they were talking about in this movie. And I think there's a real human element. And that was the closest I came to connecting to Adam Green, was when he kept saying a couple points in the movie. He said, they aren't monsters. They aren't freaks. They're just different. Just because they're different from us doesn't mean we should be scared of them. And he was much more interested than he was scared.
Well, and apparently the monsters in this movie aren't necessarily monsters. They're more like people born with deformities that are outcast and ostracized. And now they live underground in this thing called the Marrow. Right.
But yeah, and that's the part that really bothered me, because then suddenly they become evil.
Who becomes evil? The
monsters.
Well, but he said that some of them are. Are we going to roll into some sort of spoiler section?
I think we should probably do dead giveaways, because we can't really talk about much else without doing that.
Before we get there, I do think this movie has a really strong original premise.
Yes.
Which is something, it is something that hasn't been done yet. It's fun, and if you go into it with kind of a lighthearted attitude and just a normal general horror standpoint, I think you really will enjoy this movie.
And that was me. Yeah.
It's time for dead giveaways. This is the point in the show where we spoil a movie. If you don't want this movie ruined, I highly recommend you pause right now and watch Digging Up the Marrow. It's on VOD everywhere. It's going to be in theaters on the 27th, I believe. Limited release, but if it's around you, I recommend you go check it out.
But then come back, because we've got good stuff to say.
I mean, maybe we'll just say goodbye.
Oh, there's stuff.
We'll just say what we think of it, and then.
Okay, can I talk now?
Of course.
Okay. So it's obvious that Decker's son is one of these creatures, and
there's a bunch of locks on his doors that they never talk about.
But this is what confuses me. So at one point, one of the cameras that Adam and his crew set up in the woods to try and capture these monsters on film disappears. They've got 4 cameras. One of them suddenly disappears. 5 cameras. Sorry. One of them disappears. And it shows from the footage, one night, William Decker goes out there and shuts down all of the cameras except for one. And then one of them films him feeding something in this tunnel, this hole in the ground that's supposed to lead to the Marrow. It shows him feeding something, and then it also shows him kneeling over it and bawling his eyes out, crying. Okay, so my confusion is, if his son was locked up in chains in his basement,
why is he in
who was he feeding, and why was he crying? So I don't know, because he did mention that at one point there was a Mrs. as well, and there isn't anymore. So I'm wondering, did the son eat or kill the Mrs.? Is the Mrs. a monster as well? And therefore one of them is locked up and the other one he's talking to in the hole? Maybe that's his wife?
I think he kind of was a general caretaker of these misfortunate people. I don't think it necessarily had to be his kid that he was taking care of. I think it...
But why was he crying?
Well, that doesn't make sense. You're right.
Why was... It had to be somebody that he was that emotionally connected to. So the only thing I'm thinking is that it could have been his wife. And his son, he had locked up because his son, I don't know, was one of the bad ones, maybe. Was it his son who returns to Adam at the end of the movie? Because what I don't understand is, so it shows at the end, William Decker disappears and Adam Green can't locate him. The hole has been filled in. Everybody's gone.
The house was never Decker's.
All the material is gone. And that was a question too. Did the monsters come and clear that stuff out because they don't want people to know that they're out there?
I think Decker was just running.
He was going on the lam.
But Decker disappeared, and he obviously went into the Marrow looking because I mean, he kept saying, "I can't lose him. I can't lose him." He's talking about his son.
But he had his son chained up in the room. Maybe that was his wife.
Yeah, I think there's some combination of wife and son. And so he was saying, I can't lose him. I can't lose my son. I don't know where the wife was. But he goes in, and then it shows this camera, okay, this missing camera. The last shot of the movie shows Adam Green recording, and he says, 2 weeks ago, this camera was delivered to me, and Adam Green is very visibly upset. Mm-hmm. And then it cuts to the film of the camera, coming from the camera, okay? And it shows wandering down the Marrow tunnel, and then it shows Decker naked in a cage, and some monster is holding the camera, obviously, and keeps rattling the cage, and Decker keeps saying, there's no such thing as monsters, there's no such thing as monsters, please ignore everything I said, blah, blah, blah. And then it shows, from a first-person view, the monster leaves the Marrow and goes back up to the front door of Adam's house and goes in the front door and goes into Adam's bedroom and then sets the camera down right by Adam's head on his pillow and then reaches his hand out like he's going to touch Adam and then suddenly screams. Everybody wakes up and it's the end of the movie. And there's so many things left there that I'm like, what? They just don't connect.
That wasn't the resolution I wanted from this movie.
No.
The entire movie.
Why was he in a cage?
Well, because he was taken captive when he was in the Marrow. I would imagine
the monsters were protecting themselves by removing people that knew of their existence.
But he was the nice one. He took care of them. And where was his son?
But he didn't take care of them. He brought in strangers to prove that they're real, and that's not taking care of them. That's not proving that the Marrow exists. Is probably one thing they don't want.
Then why was he so dead set on proving that the Marrow existed? And,
I don't know.
And where was his son when he was in this cage? Was his son okay with him being caged up?
Well, and why was he trying to pitch the idea of the Marrow to all the other film directors? What was the point of that entire thing?
Yeah, he was obviously desperate to get this story out there, but I don't understand what was driving that desperation. I don't know if he was going and they didn't explore it far enough. Like they could have said, okay, he's trying to get these monsters, I don't know, like an X-Men type theory here. He's trying to get them more accepted by society so that his son doesn't have to live in the freaking Marrow. Maybe that's his motive. Okay.
That would have been valuable, yeah.
But they needed to explore it. I appreciate that they didn't spell everything out, but they needed to explore it at least a little bit more.
I just wanted to go into the Marrow. I felt like the entire movie was pointing us towards that hole, and we never got to really go in there. Even the footage at the end, the actual found footage portion of this, wasn't enough for me. A scattered William Decker in a cage scene, followed by delivering just that footage, it just seemed...
Well, and again, okay, so if the monster delivered that footage, screamed and woke them up, then fast forward 2 weeks to when Adam Green's filming this scene. What the hell happened with the monster? Like, did the monster hurt them? Why is he finishing this movie? You would think that if the monster had just chained up William Decker about this, that he would have stopped them from filming the rest of this movie and letting it out, right?
I mean, I think
rather than
having William Decker record that is just a message,
a threat, like we will take you.
But then why does Adam Green put out the movie?
Yeah,
right.
Why is he allowed to?
Right. Maybe that's why his wife left him.
Quit talking about his personal life.
Well, he fused his personal life with this movie.
He did, but he didn't talk about her leaving him.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
It's very sad.
It's terribly.
It's horribly sad.
I don't think that a fake monster movie has anything to do with his wife leaving him.
Maybe what if the monsters really are real?
What if this is an actual documentary?
He had put them all in danger because of that, and that really is why she left. And the reason he doesn't sleep is because he goes out and checks out this monster hole all the time now.
Maybe Adam. Yeah, maybe Adam is William Decker. And he cast Ray Wise to play himself.
That makes my head hurt.
Yeah, I know, right?
That really makes my head hurt.
No,
that's good content.
So the end, I like having things up in the air.
I do too.
Sam and Byron don't like it as much as I do.
I'm totally fine with most of what we've discussed.
But there were too many pieces that were incongruous that did not match with each other.
Kept waiting for them all to come back together somewhere at the end, and they never did.
I needed them to at least come closer together, like where I could connect the dots. But like the dots were in different universes, and I couldn't connect them. Maybe I'm just stupid though. Maybe there's a really logical conclusion from it. Like I started Googling, explain end of digging up the Marrow.
Just came out.
I know. Nobody's done it yet, but I really hope that I get an explanation at some point because I really liked it. And I liked that there was this human element of, these poor things rather than looking at them as these horrific creatures. I really liked that.
Well, let's talk about the actual things in this movie.
Yeah,
the monsters, the frog and Huck. Vance, Brella, and Little Bigfoot.
I liked Brella.
I like Little Bigfoot. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but so Little
Didn't get to
Bigfoot,
see much of
Just
him.
like a person in a costume.
it looked exactly like a guy in a golem costume or
Yeah.
something, like just crawling around. I didn't get that.
That was less exciting than the others.
But I think that might have been on purpose too, so that it kept us going,
I don't know if
maybe
that's a
he's just
monster,
faking it.
yeah, I think that was a continuation of the story, as
Yeah.
well as. Do you remember the scene when they're interviewing Adam and the producer? What's his name? Will Barrett? Mm-hmm. And this monitor is between them playing the footage that they recorded, and something crawls out of the hole. Did you catch that at all?
No.
Oh, it's in the middle of an interview with Adam Green and Will Barrett, and they're talking about the footage.
and the screen's in the background.
There's a screen behind them, and a monster crawls up and walks.
What kind of monster was it?
It's
I
funny.
don't know exactly what it was. It was at a distance.
I
but-
was watching that and I was kind of half paying attention and I
Yeah.
saw it walk, but I thought it was Decker
Oh, okay, yeah.
because I wasn't really paying
It,
attention.
it wasn't, but
Nice.
all the creature design in this movie is really cool.
Awesome.
With art direction by Alex Pardee, and Robert Pendergraft did all the makeup and some special effects stuff. He's behind Jeepers Creepers and Hatchet, another one of Adam Green's movies,
Okay.
amongst a bunch of other stuff.
It showed. The creature design was great.
And they were very unique, really cool looking. And I think that a lot of them did a good job of walking that line where they could be scary or they could be just these adorable,
Whimsical.
endearing.
Yeah.
And I saw in an interview, Adam Green was talking about E.T. and how,
that's one of his
you know,
favorite movies.
Yeah, and a lot of people thought that E.T. was so creepy looking and he thought it was adorable. Well, I was one of those that thought E.T. was adorable.
Did you have a
adorable.
stuffed animal?
Just like a little walking turd.
No, I actually, when I watched E.T. the first time, I cried. I hated movies with sad endings. I cried for hours and I didn't talk to my parents for like a week because they showed
You're
it to
mad
me.
at
I was so mad at them.
I don't
was
even.
so
I've
mad.
never seen E.T.
Well, he goes home.
What? Spoiler alert!
It's very sad.
Oh God.
It's very sad.
Yeah, then he lays eggs in Ripley's head.
Okay. Anyhow, I thought the creatures were cool.
The creatures are cool. How do you feel about that Slimer one that just runs across
so
the ground?
cute. He was so cuddly and adorable. I
liked
loved him. He
And it was
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was really effective. It just ran by really fast, and
Right.
that was it. Like,
I would have liked it to slash their Achilles when it ran by.
But
or
that was the
something
whole
at
point. They
low
weren't
level.
supposed to be overtly threatening until
Some of them
obviously the scene with Vance and he goes,
but what did Vance really do?
tried to
Vance,
scare the shit out of him to make him go away.
He's got like a Dr. Octopus style
Well, and he's like
Yeah.
Shiva from
what's
Mortal
the
Kombat.
guardian of the river Styx? What's that guy's name again?
Or Goro.
Goro is more like it. Yeah.
Who's the guardian of the river Styx? What creature?
I don't know what that is.
Mythological, whatever. Anyhow, it's like he's obviously supposed to be the gatekeeper, and so that's his job. He's trying to keep everybody out.
Which was cool, but I do think they held on him a bit too
Yeah,
long.
showed too much.
They did a good job of not showing too much of anybody else, though, which is commendable.
The creature effect was cool. I thought that was a big chunk of what made this movie cool, is when that third act really kicks in, the twists start.
So I think the moral of this story is, Byron, you just need to watch movies from the same perspective that I do, and you'll enjoy them more.
I guess. I did not enjoy this movie. I feel like I ripped on it a lot, but
You would have enjoyed it more, though, had you gone in
You
with
had really
Kelly's
high
headspace.
expectations. Too.
I did. We've been talking about this, the production of this movie. I've known about it for over a year at this point. Adam constantly said this isn't a scary movie, and I didn't know if he was just playing that for hype. And then we watched a trailer, and it was really good, and it had a lot of really tense moments. And I don't think this movie had the tension that the trailer had, which is maybe why I shouldn't watch trailers, honestly.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Should
No more
probably think
trailer
about
segment.
that.
I don't know. The way they hype movies, I don't think is an honest way, and I don't think they don't always have the control over what
Yeah.
goes into a trailer.
Yeah, that's very true.
It didn't give anything away, but it did focus on the scenes with the monsters.
But that's what the movie revolves around, even though it takes up less time. I mean, honestly, I really do. I think you need to go in with the same headspace that I do, and you're going to just enjoy things much, much more. I thought it was a really good movie, and I didn't go in with huge expectations because I didn't know a ton about it other than the trailer and that I've been anticipating it for, not as long as you, but probably 6 months. So
How about that Boston scene? Do you think they left some stuff on the cutting room floor with that?
There had to have been.
yeah.
They fly to Boston. They talk to a detective that's like, "Oh yeah, we don't know any William Decker," and then they just fly back.
Yeah,
Like,
it was kind
okay.
of weird. It was kind of weird.
They should have just faked it as a phone call. Adam likes like, I just got off the phone with Detective so and so at the Boston Police Department.
right.
They don't know anything about him. That would have been a
lot
good
more
way to-
logical.
Yeah, he talked about all this footage that he cut from the movie. I just think that would have been a scene that would have been worthy. Of
I'm
being cut.
wondering if there's cutting that would explain what happens in the end. That's my only complaint. So, yeah.
Kelly, what did you think of this movie?
7.2.
7.2.
Yep. I thought it was really good. And honestly, if the ending had made just a little bit more sense to me, if it had connected a little bit better, explained a couple more things, it probably would have been like an 8.5 because I really, really, really liked it. It's just the ending was so unnecessarily confusing, and not in a way that's like, oh, you fill in the pieces and think about it, but in a way that like, this can't possibly match with this. What the hell happened? So 7.2. What about you, Byron?
I give this movie a 6.1. I think it's good. I liked it. The fact that it's original and that Adam, I feel like he did put a lot into this, into the script and the concept and the creature design, and taking it from just a couple ideas and fleshing it out. But there's a lot of things that I think could have been done better easily, especially the score, which we didn't talk about. The big band stock music throughout the entire beginning.
Odd.
I like the big band music.
Odd choices.
I was a fan.
There's a couple odd choices, but it was fun. I liked it. I think it was a good nod
6.1
towards horror fans. I think it was cool. It was a treat.
Sam, what do you give it?
I would say 5.5. And my sentiments echo Byron's. I think
What's wrong
pretty
with
closely.
you?
I
Can't
don't
bully
know.
someone into thinking a movie's
I
better.
don't.
Yes, you can. I do that a lot in my life.
Are you working for Green? I enjoyed that. It very much seems like he put his heart and soul into this, and did as best he could. Involved some really cool art design. Had some great cameos that, while I like all those people, Kane Hodder or.
There's
not
directors
sure.
throughout.
Yeah, not sure what they added to the film, although it was cool to see him. And I really like what he tried to do with this movie. It was original. It was a cool idea. It just maybe wasn't realized as well as I think it could have been with a little bit more effort and tweaking. Well, maybe effort's not right, because it's obvious he worked very hard on this.
No, of course. And you can see that he did care about it, but the movie resolved itself without the help of the heroes. And I think that was a huge problem.
Literally without any of them.
It's as if it played out by itself with no resolution having to do with.
You're overthinking it. It was good.
All right.
I did enjoy it.
You
With
did
my
enjoy it.
5.5, I did enjoy it. I probably would not watch it again for a while.
What if they had a director's cut?
I would watch
the
that.
director's cut in a
Okay.
second.
Or I would go to it in the theater.
There we
I'd go to it in the theater.
I think everyone should buy this movie.
Absolutely.
Support Adam Green. I think he really cares about horror.
It's well worth the $7.
I'm
VOD
excited
for sure, you guys.
Excited to
worth
see what
it.
he does next. I hope this gives him even more of a springboard to, advance his career and be able to kind of push the envelope and try new things, because there aren't a lot of people out there doing that.
So what are we watching next week, guys? Do we know?
I'm pulling up my calendar right now.
No,
Something
movies,
comes out-
not days.
Something comes out on Saturday
Is it
when
Lazarus?
we come back, wasn't it?
Is it Lazarus?
Could have been
Effect?
Lazarus.
Whoa. This is going to be interesting.
It's weird because Byron and I are both excited for that, but you're not.
I'm super into Lazarus Effect.
Well, you like dumb things. Byron likes Olivia Wilde, and I'm not that interested in either.
Yeah.
I like Mark Duplass now. After watching the one I love, I'm a Duplassian now.
I'm the biggest Mark Duplass fan.
I'm a huge Duplassian
I love
now.
Gambino.
I love Gambino.
I'm excited.
His new album kind of sucks, but I like him.
Hey, whoa.
It's not very
This
good.
is a film podcast.
Sorry, my bad.
It does look like Lazarus Effect is going to be our next review.
Woo! Lazarus Effect. Are we going to do actually in the theater? Is this going to be our first theatrical?
Yeah. Should be interesting.
Shazam!
Okay. Kelly, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me at Kelly Frightday on Twitter, or you can email me, kelly@frightday.com, or you can check out our awesome new website that Byron's been working so hard on. And
We
I've
have all been working on it.
I haven't.
Sam hasn't really done a goddamn
hasn't
thing
done
with
a
it,
thing.
actually. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
And that's frightday.com. So, yeah.
How about you, Sam? Where can we find you?
Twitter handle @SamFrightday and email sam@frightday.com.
And I am at Byron McKoy on Twitter. Byron@frightday.com is my email. And thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you. You guys are the best.
It's like 6 o'clock and I'm exhausted. I apologize.
yeah.
And until next Fright Day, I'm Byron.
I'm Kelly.
And I'm Sam.
Stay scared.